I feel like if I have some information that can prevent a death, a fatality, you know, I really want to get that out there. My goal is just to have some peer pressure there to say, hey man, you know, I want to go out there, but I don't want to be on that Airborne angler site. Now, I would obviously never make fun of anyone for going in. It could happen to anybody. It could happen to me. So the Airborne Angler started with just a YouTube channel for my son and I to share stuff. As I started flying over the bay, I noticed there's a big demand for ice conditions. The satellite doesn't do a very good job because it's overcast a lot. And when I go flying, I always saw it. I just never paid much attention to it until I started ice fishing. And then I decided to, you know, it'd be a good idea to take some pictures and video and share that with the other fishermen so that they can plan accordingly. Downside is I can't tell how thick the ice is, so I always warn people not to solely go by my videos. But if I can capture some open water spots, I think that really helps them stay away from it. So the goal ultimately is every year to have 0 fatalities, because it seems every year we lose at least one. Last year we had horrible ice conditions. I don't think I fished the bay once because it was so unpredictable and dynamic. And we did lose a gentleman up north, and I decided to start flying up that way. So I'm just hoping that we don't have any incidents, and that would make me happy. That would be a success for the Airborne angler. As a kid, I would just always point out airplanes. My mom said I would just point, and I just always had a fascination with flying. I can't explain it. Nobody in my family flew. Just loved it. I used to ride my bicycle to like an airport like this and have strangers take me flying, and I'd come back and I just told my mom I rode my bike that day. When I was 16, I got a gliding license, and then I went away to the Marine Corps and got my private pilot license there. When I came back stateside, I got into fishing, and I didn't really think of matching the two. But then as I started ice fishing and I was curious about ice conditions, I decided to take the plane up and see what's going on up there, and then decided to share it with others on that Airborne angler site. When it's open water, you know you're gonna have a little bit of shore ice that's shallow. It freezes the fastest, so you can kind of see from the satellite pictures and my pictures, you can kind of see the boundary where the shore ice ends. And then right now is the transition period where recently it froze from open water to ice, and it's skim ice. Then you get a little snow on it to camouflage it, and it's very hard to tell the boundary from old ice to new ice. And as we flew today, most of the bay was iced up, but there was pockets of open water. And overnight, they're going to skim over most likely, and everybody's going to be racing to the launches to be the first one to get a parking spot, and they'll be going out in the dark. And it's impossible to tell when it skims over with, you know, a 1/4 inch of ice with a little dusting of snow. Just the trap is set. So, you know, my rule personally is I wait till the last open water spot freezes, and then you try to do some math with charts available that says if it's been 10 below, you know, in one day it grows 2 inches. So I know I'm waiting at least 3 days. I'm too chicken to be the first one or last one out there. I'd rather just go get a fish sandwich somewhere than to take that risk. I don't give go, no-go decisions. There's a lot of very experienced ice guides, charter captains out there that go out on foot and check the ice and take customers. So that's what I recommend people do if they're not sure. But I'm very weary of giving somebody permission to go because I think it looks good from an airplane at 1,000 feet above it. It's just the ice isn't a universal sheet. It can be great in one spot and 5 feet away you fall through. So unless I've been out there, I'm cautious. But even then, the next day, it could have changed from a windstorm or temperature or anything. So, you know, I'm glad it first started with about 300 followers, and I think this is the 3rd year, so we're up to 10,000. So I think the word's getting out, and I'll never know if anybody didn't fall in because of me, but that's fine. I'm not gonna take credit for that anyways, but it would be nice to have a winner where nobody gets hurt. The Saginaw Bay is, I would say, a world-renowned walleye fishery, especially spring, fall, summer. But ice fishing is great because it's a shallow bay off the Great Lakes, so it tends to freeze, although we haven't been as lucky. With the exception of Lake Erie, the western basin of Lake Erie, like the Saginaw Bay is, you know, a great fishery right in our own backyard. So living 3 miles from there. And I think, you know, when you have good ice and you go up there and look, you can see thousands of shanties on a weekend. So it attracts people from all over the country, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and they have their own walleye waters. But like I said, with the exception of a few places, Detroit River, Lake Erie, it's right up there. So it's a popular spot. If I have the capability to go fly, to not go and knowing that there's a demand for that information, I know I'm not obligated, but I feel like I gotta go. A lot of people have ice fished before I started doing this, but I hope if it helps one guy, I'm happy, and it helps me. So, you know, I'm excited to get out there. So I use that same information, but I don't just blindly trust my video or picture. I'm gonna go out there and check it, obviously. There's a lot of memes out there, maybe having your biggest friend be first, and no, definitely. I mean, I respect the guys that go on foot and use a spud bar and check it and blaze themselves a path, then go back, get their gear. Like that's how it should be done. That's way more important than any airplane, is just having a spud bar and hitting the ice in front of you and just seeing if it's thick enough. Like nothing can replace that. The problem is the ice can shift, it can melt, it can move. So you can't just be complacent and think that, you know, I took this trip out here, so when I follow my GPS track coming back 10 hours later, it's not guaranteed that that path is safe. So, you know, time and cold temps are much better than an airplane. Everybody comes home and I'll be happy. I don't care if you catch fish. And I worry, you know, when you see, we had a sled go through recently and everybody was okay, but it's like, I know a lot of the people that fish it, and it's like, you know, who was that? Did I take a picture of that spot? Are they even on Facebook? So, you know, that's nerve-wracking whenever you see somebody go in, but I hope they're fine, and this time they were. So we're not counting that. We're still batting 1,000. You know, sportsmen looking out for sportsmen. Doesn't have to be in an airplane. You can help somebody out on the ice, but basically just safety awareness. I hope people don't take unnecessary risks, and if the legacy is that it just makes people think for a second, then I'm good with that.